The easiest way into the European market is if you've already had some experience selling in other markets like the US. If you've already had some successful designs in the past, then it's time to pay attention because I'm going to give you some tips on how you can reuse your best-selling designs in Europe. So the fastest way to get more sales is by taking your best sellers over to Europe and targeting English-speaking markets. Many times you won't even have to make changes to the design. Currently, the UK is the biggest buyer market in Europe, so you've got a lot of potential here. Go through your past top sellers and quickly Google search that niche in the UK. If it's a generic design about cycling, for example, then there shouldn't be any major differences between the American and British audience. Go over to Facebook's Audience Insights and enter the targeting you used for the US campaign and simply change the target country to the UK and Ireland. It's normal that your target audience size will be much smaller because the population of these countries is significantly smaller compared to the US. The only thing you have to do now is to add some more interest to your targeting to achieve your ideal audience size, which is about 50,000 to 150,000 people. Got your targeting set up? Good. Now simply take that design, create a new campaign, and start promoting the tees in Europe. So let's talk about a real campaign example. The I Love My Wife shirts used to be very popular in the US, and it's a pretty generic design so you can easily target different markets with it. What we want to do now is find out if the British are just as interested in fishing as our US customers are, if there are any noticeable differences between these two niches, and if we need to make any adjustments to the design. So to do this, first we're going to go to google.co.uk and type in Fishing UK, for example. So it seems that there's a lot of interest in fishing in the UK. Straight away we see several fishing destinations listed, official government sites, and a bunch of other UK fishing sites, as you can see here. I can look through those pages now, and I can also Google search fishing forums, for example, to get to know my audience a little bit better. Since my design isn't too specific, I'm already pretty much satisfied with what I'm seeing so far. So now we just need to see if those people are targetable in the UK as well. So let's move over to Facebook Audience Insights to figure that out. So here I've got a copy of the targeting that I used for this design in the US. The most important settings here are the gender, the interests, and the relationship status. I leave both genders because married women could also buy this shirt for their husbands as a gift, so we don't want to exclude them from targeting. The interests are always the most important setting, so I added an American fishing magazine here, a fishing gear brand, and a website for fishing. Last but not least, you can also see that the relationship status of my target audience should be married. You can see that my audience size is between 150 and 200,000 people. If I change the location to the United Kingdom, my audience disappears. That tells me that the interests I chose were mostly American-based. But this isn't a problem. All I have to do is research some British fishing magazines, brands, fishing destinations, and so on, and simply add them to the interests for this ad. So for example, I just checked Google Images for Fishing Magazines UK, and add some of those to Audience Insights, like this one, Angler's Mail or Course Fishing. I can also just type in the word fishing to see what Audience Insights suggests. I'll also check out page likes to see if there are any relevant target groups, like this one called Angling Times. So let's try to look for this one in the interests, and it actually appears as an interest as well, which is great. So I can just continue doing this until I reach my desired audience size. So based on this example, what conclusions can we draw? First of all, people are also interested in fishing in the UK. This niche is similar to our audience in the US, and we don't need to adjust the design to target this new audience. So as you can see, reusing popular English designs in Europe is easier than you think. So with our previous example, we didn't have to make any changes to the design. But sometimes you are going to need to adjust your designs for new European markets. So let's quickly discuss some of the differences between the UK and the US. There are some slight spelling differences between certain words, as you can see here. So take this softball mom shirt, for example. We'll need to change the mom to mum with a U for our UK audience, but we should also do some research to see if softball is a popular sport in the UK. After a bit of research, we'd find that softball is not as popular in the UK, but rugby and cricket are. We can easily change the wording and the design to fit these new niches. We can look to UK forums, websites, and groups for more insight on our target audience. If we want to target rugby moms in the UK, we can look for schools that are known for their rugby teams and ones that compete in championships, and add these to our interests in the Facebook ad. We would also need to target women with children only. Keep in mind you don't have to restrict yourself to the UK market when it comes to English designs. People who live in Scandinavian countries, Belgium, or Germany, for example, also tend to speak English quite fluently. If you're interested in learning more about how to get the most of your best-selling designs, then watch the next video tutorial on how to enter new language markets. We'll show you how to translate your design and how you can set up ad targeting for a foreign market with a different native language. It's easier than you think.